What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into the Astonishing Iceman, issue number 4. Now, when it comes to Iceman, we have seen him being kept together by his love interest that is Empath. Through Empath, he is able to keep form, having their base hidden away in Antarctica. Bobby can only stay away for so long. Empath's powers can only be stretched so thin. And so Bobby has to be very careful with his time. He has to choose and pick when he goes out and when he saves people. Orcus has been throwing everything that they have at him. But what happens next? Iceman could never have predicted. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you like this video. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we pick up in Antarctica, we see the giant ice fortress. We watch as Bobby leaves. With Bobby taking off, we have the cleaner who is out here waiting for his opportunity to infiltrate. And so while this happens, we pick up in Manhattan. We pick up with Feral. She is one of Vulture's hounds. Seen in the Uncanny Spider-Man, Vulture has been experimenting using Warlock's techno-organic, using the techno-organic to assimilate all and any mutants that he may come across. He turns them into living weapons. He turns them into his hounds. And so we see Spider-Man trying to save a tourist, and this is when he gets blindsided, spider senses going off at the very last moment, but it was too late. Fatal comes in, sweeping in, and almost takes out Spider-Man. As Spider-Man takes on the two of them, this is where we have the arrival of Bobby, as he comes sliding in on some ice, making his snarky remarks, getting ready to get into this fight. Before he can even do anything, Fatal comes from behind him and chops off his head. Spider-Man now finding himself surrounded by Reaper, Fatal, and Feral. As things look like they're about to go sideways, this is where Bobby's voice comes out, with Bobby reforming, laughing at them. Feral and Fatal charge Bobby. Bobby throwing his decapitated ice head right into the face of Fatal. Spider-Man focusing on Reaper. As Spider-Man is handling this guy, we see Bobby take to the air. Creating an ice slide, he begins to take off. He is getting Fatal and Feral to chase after him, giving Spider-Man the opportunity to take care of Reaper. But as Reaper is chasing this innocent girl down the alleyway, Spider-Man is hot on his tail. But this is where we learned that Reaper had no intention of fighting Spider-Man or this girl. In fact, all of this was simply a ploy to bring out Iceman. As we see Reaper blink away, Spider-Man quickly understands that they were trying to get Iceman alone. As we pick up with Bobby throwing out some ice drones. They have studied everything that he has done, every move that he has made, every technique that he has used. They have prepared for this hunt, and they begin to get the upper hand. But just when they think that they got Bobby, this is when a giant iceberg pops up, freezing both Fatal and Feral in place. Bobby tells them that they can stay there and they can wait for the guys to show up with handcuffs. But sitting atop this iceberg, this is where the teleport opens up. Orcus has opened up a teleportation field right in the ice. This teleports Feral and Fatal out of here in an instant. This also causes Bobby to fall, screaming that it should have been solid ground. We see that his powers aren't working 100% like they should. Luckily for him, Spider-Man comes swinging in and grabs him. He tells Spider-Man that he's been a little bit overextended, but it's also been a minute since the two of them really had the opportunity to chat and catch up. So this is what the two of them go do. They sit atop a roof and they talk. You know, and this is something that we have seen from Spider-Man throughout the Fall of X. He may not be out here helping people or helping mutant kind in the way that we may want him to. But when any of our mutants have needed a friend, have needed a hand, have needed some help, Spider-Man has been there to be the ear, to simply listen to what they have to say, because mutant kind right now, they're going through it. He lets Iceman know that you can always come to me no matter what. Bobby, recognizing that he has already been away for too long, he's got to get out of here. And so as Bobby slides and Spider-Man swings, we see the two of them take off, and we pick up with Vulture. Vulture is not exactly happy that his hounds had been used in this manner. More than that, Vulture knows when somebody is gunning for his job. We are seeing that even though Orcus is against mutant kind, they are more like a power struggle. You could really attribute this to something like the Sith, especially back in the day when there was the Council, the Brotherhood. The Siths always trying to undercut one another so that they can get a higher seat of power. That, of course, all took place before the Rule of Two. But Orcus is playing along the same lines. There may be a hierarchy inside Orcus, but every single person that has the slivers of power, they are going for more. They are trying to gain more power, more control, more influence. Vulture is no exception to this. But as we pick up in Antarctica, with Bobby showing back up, he sees that things are in turmoil. Things are going very bad here. Calling out for Romeo, not sure where he is, he goes running to look for him. And getting to the throne room, getting to the war room, what we find is that Empath bleeding on the ground unconscious, and Mr. Clean sitting on the throne. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Not a horrible issue, but not the greatest of issues either. I was really hoping that Bobby was going to get an opportunity to shine in some great ways, but these stories are really mediocre at best. There's no substance, there's no depth to any of this. It's really just surface level stuff. Add in the fact that I'm not extremely happy what they have done with Vulture. You know, Vulture had cancer, he was on the path to redemption, he was really trying to change his life. We even saw in the Amazing Spider-Man series, the one by Zeb Wells, I believe, where Vulture goes out and he attacks Spider-Man, but only because he believed that Spider-Man turned his granddaughter against him, even after him trying to turn over a new leaf. That was more of a misunderstanding that went sideways. But in that, we saw that Vulture was trying to be a better person, to do this for his granddaughter, who didn't want anything to do with him if he was doing his whole supervillain aspect. And so to take that away from him and then just make him even more evil. I feel like you could have done this with any other hero that wasn't on a redemption arc. But you know how comics, Marvel Comics too, in general I should say, they love to do this stuff. To take a character that may be on a redemption arc, may have an opportunity not to necessarily be a hero, but at least an anti-hero, and then just revert them right back to exactly what they were. Some characters I can understand, but I was really hoping that Vulture would at least get a little bit of an opportunity to not just be a punching bag, to not be the evil supervillain with the horrible, in-game plots, if you will. Now, none of this is me saying that I dislike the Astonishing Iceman series. I just don't think it is top-notch when it comes to the Fall of X era. There are a lot of freaking bangers coming out, and Astonishing Iceman may have started out relatively strong. It's been the same thing for the last couple of issues, and I don't see it changing that drastically with the last two. Even more than that, a lot of the Fall of X that we've seen so far, the individual titles, don't necessarily tie in with one another. And that's not a bad thing per se. Like, if you're not trying to buy every single issue like I do, then you can pick and choose which ones you actually want. I thought maybe the Fall of X was going to be more connected than it actually is. But a lot of these stories are standalone stories that you don't need to read, Astonishing Iceman being one of them. Unless you're a fan of Bobby, you don't really need to buy this comic. That is, if you're following the Fall of X. The ones that you really gotta focus on are X-Men, X-Men Red, Immortal X-Men. Those are the heavy hitters really pushing the plot forward when it comes to the Krakoa era as a whole. Comics like this are more just filled with little side information that you may not pick up in the main lines, but I'm sure eventually they'll mention whatever details you may have missed. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything going on with both Bobby and the Fall of X. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.